and share. Sorry, I got to move things around here a little bit. And now share the share the browser. Looking for the right one. Ooh, that's interesting. Is that the desktop or is that just Chrome? Well, I think that's just Chrome. Is that the whole desktop? Yeah, I'm showing the desktop.
Calendar. That's your calendar.
Yeah. Okay. Why did it do the calendar? That is the oddest thing. I didn't think I screwed that up. Okay, and sorry. Zoom decided again to, here it is, reformat my desktop. Share screen, Google Chrome, here we go. Yay, okay. Welcome everyone to the April 16th MicroProfile live hangout. A link to the meeting minutes is in the chat. Please add your name to the list of microprofilers who are on today's call. It is everyone's shared responsibility to edit notes. And okay, we got someone else joining here. And this meeting is being recorded and it'll eventually find its way into the YouTube channel. Okay. For today's agenda, I actually don't have necessarily a lot. We'll go over Emily has to go over MicroProfile 7. I do want to talk a little bit about the MicroProfile AI call. I do want to talk. Is there anything from marketing that we want to talk about?
Not at
Maybe
this time.
just-
If Emerson ends on the call, then he can give us an update on
Okay.
that methods, but everything else is.
Oh, that's a good point. And then I thought I would take a look at one of the topics in the program plan, centralized content, just because it's in the program plan. We haven't really talked about it yet. Reza has his hand raised. Yes, Reza.
This is not the right time this time, John, but I think the metrics analysis that we'll discuss in 2 weeks in the marketing meeting, I think we should discuss it here as well. Just in case, there's a good, bad, indifferent, something different, different insight that people have, or maybe, whatever insights ultimately turn into action, whether there's some ideas on actions here as well. So I think what I'm saying is maybe we put it somewhere here, and then after, I don't know, 2 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever, we do the same exercise here as well, maybe.
Actually, that will go into marketing. So what I'll do is, actually, take this one out here. Reza to discuss metrics in next marketing call, and we will follow up in the next live hangout to review and continue plan of action. Okay. All right. So I'm going to scroll up here. MicroProfile 7. Emily.
Yeah, I think all the specs are making steady progress, so which is good. And actually, I will schedule a call with you, John, and Emerson probably on Friday. So look at basically the timelines. We know we are a bit kind of delayed because of the kind of plan reviews and also all the different activities. I think the Open API has a lot to do, so I talked with the team and both REST client as well need more time. I don't think May the 3rd is achievable. So we discuss again and then rework on the schedule and share with the community again.
Okay, yeah, that's here. Okay. All right. Yeah, keep us up to date on that. Maybe in the next technical call, we can do a review of that, see where we're at a week further down. Okay. let's see here. Emily, you wanted to, you have a kind of an AI here about pasting technical goals here so we can track them during this call. I don't see anything pasted here yet. Is there anything in particular that you wanted to bring up regarding technical goals?
No, I don't. I will add a link to the technical goal. Yeah, as we speak. We did review the other technical goal. It seems, yeah, that's a link. Yeah, thank you. So that's a link I supposed to put in. I forgot. So we did review this one. Like a technical call. It seems we are making great progress.
Okay, sorry, I'm gonna 2024 program plan goals here. There we go. Okay, so yesterday I joined, sorry, I'm gonna move on to the next bullet, Emily. I joined the AI call. It's the first one I joined. I didn't have a meeting conflict, and I was actually quite impressed. There were 13 people on the call, and we discussed this a little bit yesterday in the marketing call. And many of them were new, I think, to MicroProfile, or definitely not regulars. So that was awesome. So in the marketing call yesterday, we discussed how we can maybe beef up the marketing a little bit around MicroProfile AI. So I think for the next, I forgot, is it 2 or 3 months, do bi-weekly social media posts, Amelia?
Yeah, like my suggestion is to do it by quarter. And we will
Quarter.
just do this one for quarter for the update of today. And in 3 months, we see where we are. If there is some advancement, we change the wording and we can schedule it if it's much more fixed for the rest of the year. Since it's a
Right.
new activity, we cannot schedule it for the entire year. So we should do it for Q2. And when Q2 ends, before before it ends, we have Q3 with a new description and design.
Okay. Yeah.
That would be my recommendation. And we can send it twice a month. And we can say, maybe we can write 2 messages. One about, one will link to the calendar, and the other one can link to, if we have a repo. I think we do not have it yet. So both of them will link to the calendar in general for people to join, because we want to bring activity, more microprofilers interested in AI. And MicroProfile is so new to it. It's just fun to join at the beginning.
Yeah, what I'm hoping is that we can introduce more of MicroProfile to these individuals, not just the AI
Correct.
aspect. And I apologize, Emily. You were going to say something.
No, that's fine. I'll let you finish.
No, that's it.
Oh, okay. So I did I did do my to-do, and I opened the marketing kind of the Git issue, and come up with some draft. So I sent to John and Amelia for you to basically polish it up. So at the moment, I just point to the calendar. So yeah.
Perfect. We look to it.
Emily is referring to a marketing Git issue just around the social media post, right?
Correct.
A draft of that, just so for everyone else's context. Okay. Are there any other thoughts about MicroProfile AI? This isn't a technical call per se. Getting into technical details might be better for the AI meeting itself or the next technical call. But just generally speaking, does anyone have any thoughts about MicroProfile AI? Its discussion in MicroProfile, are there other ways to take advantage of AI besides social media posts of broadening participation in MicroProfile? Anyone have thoughts? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Yeah, we have technical goals here. We already had a link to technical goals down here. Roberto, have you looked at all regarding context propagation, MicroProfile in Jakarta?
Yeah, I mean, if we want to move those to Jakarta, that will be fine from our end.
So that sounds like it was a question, right?
No,
If we
no,
are-
sorry, maybe I was not clear. So what we discuss is, I mean, we know there are some classes that went into MicroProfile context propagation because we wanted them there, right? So the discussion was if as I read that, right, if we were comfortable to leave it either on MicroProfile or if these classes could be moved to Jakarta concurrency. So from our case, we don't see any issue of moving those to Jakarta concurrency. That's the answer.
Okay, I don't think the question is really about whether you see an issue with moving them. It's about whether you require them to be moved, and if so, which of them do you?
Well, so yeah, again, sorry if that was not clear. So, for us, it's pretty much okay if they are moved or not, right? That's the we are fine if they're moved. If they're not, we are also fine, right?
All right, I mean, given that answer, I think the resolution will be that they won't get moved because I don't think anyone else wants them.
Sure. So, because if no one else wants them, then we're mostly fine to at some point to just remove the MicroProfile ones and use our own, right? If no one else wants to use them. So we're completely fine with that.
All right, great.
Okay, yeah, because I remember I think Ken Finnegan worked on this a lot in the early days, and from my recollection, it was always kind of intended to be a stopgap measure for it to be moved into Jakarta. But if there's no interest in doing that, and it takes work to do that, right? So someone's gonna actually have to do the work as well, right? Then leaving it, I guess, makes sense. And if people are not consuming it, then we'll have to look at deprecating and end of lifing it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the issues with the moving those to concurrency, and that's why we don't. I mean, there is no really an issue for us to move them because we will just use our own or still refer to the old API of MicroProfile. Is if they get moved to Jakarta concurrency, then we will be forced to move to Jakarta concurrency in a MicroProfile environment, which Profile does not support, right?
Right. Right. Gotcha.
Unless Jakarta concurrency also becomes part of MicroProfile, but then that's a completely different discussion. The problem over here is moving classes that other people might actually need that are part of the MicroProfile platform or MicroProfile specification in this case, or API. But if they get moved to Jakarta, then you're forcing them to the entire Jakarta platform.
Well, Jakarta concurrency could potentially move into Jakarta core profile, and from there come into MicroProfile.
Yeah, I mean,
Would like us to pursue, because we could pursue that, and I think there would be receptivity to it in Jakarta if that's something that they know that MicroProfile is asking for.
Yeah, I didn't want to go into that discussion because I know that's a completely different discussion. There are cases where I mean, I think there is even greater work to move the concurrency to Jakarta core. I mean, I'm not against that. I think it might be something that makes sense as well. But as always, we need to be a little bit careful by moving things into the core because then it doesn't mean to be core anymore, right? If you start moving stuff there a lot. I know there are some limitations. Well, limitations in the sense that I remember for instance, in OpenTelemetry and even for Jakarta REST, right? So the sync, the old, I mean, not the old one. So the non-programmatic REST client, which is the one that ships with Jakarta REST, which is like that one called Client Builder, right? I think that's the name, or Web Target. Can't remember the names right now. Those requires Jakarta concurrency, right? So it is a little bit tricky in the sense that if you want to use those APIs in a MicroProfile environment, you are forced to push a Jakarta concurrency implementation.
So I guess for now, it just sounds like we can leave things as they are. Unless someone
Yes,
wants
I mean,
to lead having the conversation.
we can leave things as they are, and maybe we can introduce a discussion if Nathan is, I mean, apparently Nathan has an opening for that, to have at least start some discussion if Jakarta concurrency should be moved to core, because I know that Jakarta REST does require it for the sync client, web client. I don't remember if something else in core requires it, right? But
so we can ask about, or look into getting that into the plan for EE12, Jakarta E12, and with the reasoning behind it that MicroProfile is interested in seeing it in core. I think that would be a reasonable approach to take.
yeah, I mean, either be part of the core or just be part of MicroProfile, right? Either option can work.
Oh, true. Could
Yeah,
MicroProfile could declare it to be core plus concurrency if we wanted to?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you can either move it to core, or if people don't want it in the core, then MicroProfile can just say, well, concurrency is now part of my MicroProfile platform. Right? So
Yeah, I think MicroProfile community can decide. So probably is I think is that for us from IBM point of view, I think we are fine, and also is the kind of want to get some viewpoint from David or the Piara Luis, and also is kind of Helidon for this implementation. This is kind of directly talking about adding more spec into the platform. Personally, I do feel the context propagation is quite important, especially.
That's what
This is
real
quite
careful.
technical. Yeah,
So
technical.
I will go here.
Well,
So
sorry,
we have.
Jan had his hand up.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Jan's next. But I just did want to say I want to be real careful about growing
No, go
core
ahead.
profile. But Jan, go ahead.
Yeah, regarding the Jakarta REST client, if there is a dependency to concurrency, that might be a hidden link. Is that defined in the spec in the API or on the TCK? Do you know that? That was my first question. And yeah, the core profile is designed to be the collection of Jakarta EE specs that are required by MicroProfile. So adding it to the core profile might make sense. And the third, Bruno mentioned that concurrency is supported by example Quarkus, but not by default because of performance issues. Do you know some details about that, Roberto?
yeah, because concurrency is mostly implemented, and the APIs are mostly around thread locals, which they don't scale well on reactive kernels and reactive implementations. So it is, so basically you have to go around and copy a lot of stuff between threads to be able to make that work. And it does take a little bit of tool on the memory side and the performance side to do all of that.
Okay.
Yeah, that statement
Oh.
seems a little bit odd, though, and maybe I'm just not understanding it right. But the way that the specification works, both context propagation as well as concurrency specification, is that it provides this architecture that you can plug into to get context propagation for concurrent operations when you want it. In which case a thing would be supportable without actually leveraging it in all circumstances. Do you understand the difference with the way I'm using the term support there?
No, I got it. But I don't know the details right now because I haven't looked into that for some time. But I do remember that I think there are a couple of situations where you're always forced to have the context propagation going, because you may not want that in like a particular piece, but then you wanted it like in something ahead on your call, and then you need to have it there anyway. And I think it's for CDI and something else. Can't remember exactly the case, but it was something like that. Can't really remember, sorry. I have to check out properly. But I think that was something related to that.
And by the way, sorry to interject here, because we don't have a very large agenda. I'm just kind of letting this conversation go on. Because technically, it's probably better in a technical group. But if we could do some pre-work here, that would be fine, given our light agenda. I'm sorry about that, everyone. Go ahead. I think Roberto, you were in the middle of a sentence, but I had to find some place to interject.
No, that's fine. I was trying to have like a quick look to see what were the things on the REST side that require concurrency. And let me see if I can find this pretty quick. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe we can further this at a technical call.
No, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, at this
the-
point, I think it sounds like probably a good idea to continue it there. But it is something that's kind of been lingering around for a while, so I'd like to come to some kind of conclusion if we could.
I have a
Yeah,
question about
I will-
this. I wanted to ask a question. So this API was updated with release MP5 in December 2001. The previous one was 4.1, the first one under the working group. It is a standalone, and it has not been updated since 5. And I don't join the technical calls. What I want to understand is, since it's a standalone, is it our parameters of maybe donating the API as a standalone to other projects? Is that what we're going to do? Because of stability? What is the logic? So that should we do this again, there is an easy path documented on how we do things and what is the reasoning behind it. So as someone who has not been into the technical call, hearing this, can you tell me, a summary of this is where we are, and this is what we're thinking about, the why. I understand the how, it has not been updated, and it's stable, but I want to understand the why as someone that is not joining the technical calls. And this is important because we need to write these things up. That is always the issue when we talk about moving technology to other projects, or being asked for our technology to be given to a different project. So we need to find a baseline where we can defend our actions and they are iterable. So thanks so much for explaining the why.
So I don't think that's a bad idea, Amelia, but I do want to kind of reiterate that we aren't really being asked to move it.
I understand
yeah.
what we're talking about it. And talking is great. I just need to understand talking is great, but I need to understand why are we talking about, what are the things about the API that makes us talk about? Because we haven't
That's
done
a
it
fair
before.
question.
And I want to know why. If you cannot explain it to me, then we have a problem, because we're talking
Mhm.
about actions and there is no why, right?
Yeah, so we can fill in
That's
the background on it. The
Nate.
context propagation spec was created in MicroProfile while Java EE was under lockdown, and there was no way to innovate in the concurrency specification. So that was done under MicroProfile context propagation, and it was done with some, statements in there saying that, this will hopefully eventually be moved back to Java
Mhm.
EE, or what became Jakarta EE. For the most part, that happened as soon as, the Jakarta EE came out with, I think, version 9, the first one that they allowed updates in other than the rename. That was when, the concurrency spec was updated with nearly everything that was in MicroProfile context propagation, except for a few things that are called out as the exceptions here. And there were some reasons why those weren't picked up. So this discussion then is about what to do with what remains of MicroProfile context propagation, whether we can just deprecate it, and then what to do with those remaining functions, either to just not move them to Jakarta because no one actually requires them. And then one of them Jakarta didn't want, which is CDI context propagation. Whether to try to push those into Jakarta or just let them go.
Yes, I mean, correct. This is not on the discussion on context propagation is not like a new discussion. I mean, there was a discussion, I don't know, maybe a year, maybe 2 years ago. I can't remember exactly when the first pieces started to get moved to Jakarta. And then at that point, and even myself, I was not aware of that fact because I only joined later. On how context propagation came to be, at least on the MicroProfile side. And there was always, as Nathan just described it, there was always a compromise that context propagation was being done in MicroProfile, but that was one of the specs that we actually wanted to get merged back into Jakarta once that was possible. So I think it's a completely different situation with other specifications that we discussed here in the past, moving them into Jakarta, like for instance, config. Regarding the concurrency spec and REST, so I posted. I knew that I read that somehow, and I had some issues with that in the past. I don't believe there is. I haven't looked into the APIs, but I don't believe there is a direct dependency of concurrency on Jakarta REST, but I posted a section on the spec in the chat which clearly says that in cases where Jakarta REST is using client builders with async calls, you need to use a managed executor service, which is part of the Jakarta concurrency API. So it's at the very least it is a soft dependency. I'm not even sure if there is like a direct dependency in the API. Probably not, but there is a soft dependency at the spec level.
Yeah, there is not a direct dependency in the API on that. It would be a direct dependency on executor service, which is in Java SE, and you get managed executor service as an implementation of it.
Yeah, so you get the real
Because it clearly the Jakarta REST clearly mentions Jakarta managed executor service is not the one from Java SE, is the one from Jakarta concurrent.
Yeah, so
not-
note those comments that are stated there don't match what I was saying. So the
sorry,
interface is the Java
I
SE interfaces, not implementation. What was just typed there?
I don't know, maybe I messed up the names, but
There we go.
No, that was my bad. My bad. Thank you for correcting me. Sorry about that. Go
it
ahead.
was on the doc. Okay. Sorry.
No, you said Roberto was very helpful. I was commenting on that, and I was just here I was just commenting on what had been written down, which is now
okay. Sorry.
That's all
I
good.
was I was not reading that. Yeah, so to summarize, there is a soft dependency on the spec side for Jakarta West for concurrency via the managed executor service. So a couple of issues that I have in the past was passing a couple of, for instance, the telemetry TCKs. They do have TCKs for client builder and in sync mode with managed executor service. And well, I couldn't pass that because for Quarkus MicroProfile, we don't ship it with a Jakarta concurrency implementation. So that's just an example.
Okay, I'm gonna
Thank
just kind of-
you.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Nate, Roberto. I understand now. My recommendation then is if this API will not be adjusted and it's not impacting MP7, to slowly move the conversation and make it a priority should we want this done before the end of the year. The technical call as a, what do we do with this? Do we deprecate? Do we give it away? And then start a thread in the community call that points out as an important topic with a summary of exactly the kind of question I asked in the response in the, if we can do this in discussions in the repo and just have the summary there, so it lives in the repo, that would be amazing as part of the documentation. We need to be thinking about those ones that were not there when we created MicroProfile. I have forgotten about it. Can't work on this. Totally forgot about it. We even work on this, right? So thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.
Okay, I think one thing I might do is, or maybe ask Nathan, since you had a very good summary,
Really
is to
great
kind
one.
of, yeah, correct my wording and just provide the brief background. You don't have to be very verbose about it, right?
Sure.
That would really be helpful for us to get this written down on paper.
Yeah, I'll
I
update the notes.
suggest basically we have a program plan technical goal, especially for this topic. Nathan, maybe you go ahead to put a summary there. So basically, when we close out program plan kind of technical goal, we know exactly where to look things at.
Yeah.
And my question is, why are we not using the Git for documenting this? I understand that we will use a program plans and things, but why are we not writing this history? We tend to continue to be awful at documenting the past, especially with the APIs.
Ah, boy, that's
I had to repeat it again. John, go ahead.
yeah, it's boy, during the flow of the meeting, it's perhaps, I guess, convenient to put it in here. If we update the Git ticket, what I was going to do was create a bookmark and then link it from the Git issue to the bookmark, right? Because the flow of conversation, it's easier just to kind of do it right here in the notes. So
I understand that, but it's too many clicks for a technical person to just go there. We're so lazy. I am super lazy. If I am a technical person, I go in there and I expect everything to be there.
Right.
If it's not there, the extra click is like worthless. And it's just me
Right,
being
well,
biased and difficult.
Okay, well, in that case, I'll let you go ahead and create the Git issue.
Nate, can you volunteer, please? You did an amazing job with the summary.
All right.
So where do you want me to update? I can update wherever you like, but just I'm not really clear now where you want it.
Well, I was content with it being here. Maybe I prefer it be in the GitHub issue for the program plan.
It's already a GitHub issue in the plan. So this is
Yeah.
my suggestion. Directly put all the things there. That's the one place to have them all.
Okay, I can update it
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
basically this is me thinking aloud. And then at the end of the day, at the end of the year, John, we should produce a doc, directly revisit all the goals to see, we produce a report or something like that. That's quite nice.
Yeah, I was planning on kind of updating the Git issues, because right around early November is the time where actually that's before that, it's October. Begin getting into the 2025 program plan. And during that time, we'll also review the 2024, right, to see what has to roll over and all of that. So that's kind of when I was planning on doing that. But okay. I'd like to move on to the next topic if we can. Question has onto the community outreach section. Did anyone here attend DevNexus, JavaLand, or any of the other conference and have any thoughts about anything regarding MicroProfile at those events?
I can do it for JavaLand if you like.
Okay.
Yeah, in JavaLand, if you scan the agenda regarding MicroProfile, you only find the session I offered to how to become a contributor or committer, which were no attendees at all because of parallel sessions might be more interesting, or the people are not interested at all. That session also covered Adoptium and Jakarta E. There were a lot of talks regarding implementations like Quarkus, and some examples where they're mentioned, but there were no specific MicroProfile talks, unfortunately. So we can do better. Also for the booth, I picked up the stuff from the Eclipse Foundation storage. So we got a Jakarta banner and a Adoptium banner, but we lack of a MicroProfile banner. So if we can produce one and store it at the Eclipse Foundation Europe storage in Darmstadt, then I can pick it up to the next conferences where we have community booths.
Yeah, so we could produce a kind of universal MicroProfile binder. I think we can design something not tag along particular releases to be reusable. So that's a good thought. For JavaLand, I did have a session on MicroProfile. However, because the clash with DevNexus, so I had to decline. Yeah. Otherwise, we do have a MicroProfile talk. So sorry about that. So hopefully next
Yeah,
year.
that was not your fault. That was the problem with the venue. So we moved to a different venue, and then we need to change the date. And unfortunately, it was the same date as DevNexus takes place. So we want to prevent that for the next year, of course. And also we had an interesting talk on JavaLand regarding that XZ disaster. We created a diamond session for that. Hopefully the recording will be public available later. Gerd Aschemann is working on that. That was live streamed, but the recording should be public available. Hopefully we can do that. And that was a nice discussion about, yeah, how we can prevent and change to not be affected by sophisticated supply chain attacks in the future.
Okay,
and of course, doing a MicroProfile release that contains a lot of unpatched CVEs is the wrong direction.
Okay. Reza.
Okay, so a few things. There wasn't really a MicroProfile session per se at DevNexus whatsoever. There was one sort of combining MicroProfile and Jakarta E, but that's about it. So I think the call to action here is, next time the DevNexus CFP opens up, in particular, when the Jakarta E track opens up, maybe people could think about doing a few more MicroProfile submissions. I was in the quote-unquote program committee for that track. I didn't see a lot of MicroProfile submissions even, to be honest. So that was one thing. I also don't know how well attended even that single sort of combined Jakarta MicroProfile session was. I think that was Edwin that presented that. So that's one issue. Observation. The booth I think was worth doing. Since we get it for free, I would definitely continue doing that, and I would maybe even sort of consider doing that for more conferences where there is that kind of setup. I don't know how good, for example, DevOps is about those things, like sort of free booths for open source projects. It's free publicity, of course, as long as we can somehow support it. With our marketing budget, that's another question to think about. I think the t-shirts went well. I think we could have given away the t-shirts a tad bit earlier than we did, but even then, in the end, we did distribute all the t-shirts, which is a good sign. I saw a few people wearing them here and there in the on the conference, so that was also good. I think if we had done it right from the morning of the first day, we probably would have seen a few more people wearing MicroProfile shirts around. That's always, as I said, good publicity. So definitely the t-shirts were worth it. It's a little bit of toss of how much money we should spend on that. I think the stickers were also good. We had a bunch of stickers left over that somebody brought over. I think we gave away all the old stickers. I don't think we have any more of those left. We have a little bit of new stickers left. I think we can save that for the next time. We had a monitor, but really we weren't doing anything with the monitor. Corollary to that is that there was hardly anybody signed up for volunteering in the MicroProfile booth. Ultimately, I think it was just really me, Emerson, and there may have been like one other person that signed up, and that was it, which is pretty dismal. It's really difficult to do very much or in a very organized fashion if you don't have any volunteers. So maybe we either not have a monitor at all next time, or not bother having trying to present something and coordinate volunteers and so on, or we should try to do it a bit better next time. Have more volunteers and have the monitor there and actually present something in the monitor as well. The banner I think was okay. I take the point that maybe like MicroProfile 6.1 banner probably wasn't the smartest use of resources. Yeah, maybe we should have made it generic and hence reusable across different events. I think that's about it. So yeah, talked about sessions, the booth, the materials of the booth, and obviously the engagement levels of the volunteering and engagement levels of the booth.
I want to just add something. I think I really want to thank Emerson for doing a lot of hard work and basically staying at the booth. I also spend some time at the booth, and also so is Andrew, from Omnifish. I think is the other thing I want to add is kind of the t-shirt was good. So as Reza said, and I think we already discussed sticker too big. So hopefully we can do a better size sticker for that. Overall, I think is kind of the MicroProfile and Jakarta booth help with each other, plus the Open Liberty booth. I think it's demonstrate a great ecosystem. And we did have a lot kind of interactive kind of conversations, which is great. So I think we should let Emerson to do a kind of summary for this. Add a couple of sentences.
I mean, in addition to what they said yesterday, as much as we complete the community or Drias logistic, everything related to the pool. You mentioned already the banner, the sticker, and the demo. Was a really good experience. We were able to interact with the community. There is a couple of things impending or action points. I wonder if maybe this is a good time to ask Paul about the leftovers of the Nexus. What is the Eclipse Foundation procedure? And the second thing is about the expanded budget. How we can get a report about those topics if he's the right person.
So Paul, I don't know if you're paying attention, but basically the question is we have a few leftover stickers and obviously the banner. We're unsure what to do with that. So asking what the standard procedure, normal procedure for working groups, Eclipse working groups are, and also, having spent whatever we spent at Dev Nexus, we're wanting to know what is the leftover budget. And I know some portion of the budget was essentially earmarked for OCX as well. So yeah, it would be good to get a breakdown of that at some point.
Reza, who is the marketing contact you were working with on the shirts?
Clark.
Clark, then ask Clark.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is somebody else called Olga as well, so she helps us with the logistics.
I'd start with Clark and he'll bring Olga in as needed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, and if that doesn't work, just reach out to me.
Yeah, in Javaland to say that that worked quite well with the Eclipse Foundation stuff. So Carmen Delgado organized all the people selecting some time slots to keep the booth stuffed. And as Carmen need to leave earlier, she organized that Olga takes over on Wednesday afternoon. So that worked really well. And for the Europe conferences, yeah, usually the banners and stuff like this are stored at the Eclipse Foundation Europe storage in Darmstadt. So that was the reason I just can pick it up there and bring it back to that location. And yeah, regarding the swag, yeah, there were no t-shirts we can distribute, but I had some remaining stickers from conferences before, so I shared them with MicroProfile.
Okay. Reza, you still have your hand up.
Yeah, so Paul, on a related note, I know we earmarked the money for OCX some time ago out of the working group budget. Is this when is the right time for us to follow up with about that? Like, what are we going to get? Sort of, well, loosely speaking, what are we going to get out of that money as a working group, and also, what are the potential follow-ups that we need to do for OCX as well? I don't think I have complete clarity on that as of yet. I mean, I was completely on board with earmarking the money because I thought it would go to good use, whatever that use may be. But I think it would be good to get a briefing on that at some point, whenever the time is right. I did notice the OCX.
Another good topic for Clark. And I did notice that the call for papers just went out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a
So planning is getting underway, right? I mean, it has been getting underway, but it's starting to pick up.
Okay, so that is also a Clark.
Well, let's start with Clark and then go from there. And if you get stuck along the way, then just reach out to me.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
So Emerson, do you want to follow up on that as well, or you want me to do it? Or somebody else? Emerson?
Yeah, I will follow up.
Okay, you understand the question, right? We
Yeah.
we earmarked we set aside some amount of money for OCX, effectively for OCX some time ago. We want to find out, okay, what's up with that? Right? What do we get in return? What potentially could we be doing further, so on and so forth. So begin the conversation about OCX essentially.
I just want to interject, even though I wasn't at DevNexus or Javalan, Emerson, what a way to carry the first huge activity as a committed rep for MicroProfile in 2024. Thank you so much. Those of us that have done the first booth of 2018 of MicroProfile at DevNexus, understand the amount of work and logistics that it takes. And I think you brought transparency via tickets, you brought communication, you joined this call, you joined the MicroProfile, you send them mails, you contacted people privately. Thank you so much to those of you that will listen to this recording. what an incredible microprofile you are. Really earning your bruises and your strikes in yellow. Way to go, microprofile.
Thank you, man. By the way, I working in the summary for the Nexus. I will share that via the email list, possibly tomorrow or after tomorrow.
Awesome.
And also maybe you can make that into a blog. So we can publish it to the MicroProfile.io.
That is a given.
Yeah.
That's a given. He has to write that introspective, and there are some good photos that he posted that are retweeted with the MicroProfile social media. So, and there is a ticket that I believe Emerson already created from yesterday. So all of it, that should be a really good community blog.
Yeah.
But that is up to Emerson time to own it.
Yeah, I also take some photos, so I can. So Emerson, if you write a Google Doc, I can help as well to put them on.
It is what I'm doing, so we can figure out what is the best way to socialize.
All right. Yeah, that would be awesome. Earlier I was talking into mute, but now that I'm unmuted, I think because of the technical discussion around context propagation / concurrency, I don't think we're gonna hit the centralized content topic that I kind of randomly picked from the program plan. So unless there's anything we could squeeze in just a couple of minutes, I'll go ahead and end the call. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
I'll go ahead and do that. All right. Thanks everyone for joining. Good call. And next week, technical call, and then see you in 2 weeks for the live hangout.
Yeah, and then if you are interested in AI discussion, join the Monday call, and then Tuesday call is technical call. Yeah, thank you all. Bye.
Monday call, you mean the AI call?
AI.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Thanks everyone.
Kisses, everyone. Bye.
Yep, bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.